Isn't it incredible that one decision, just that one spark, that one thing that really you just know, if I made this move, if I take this action, if I start really putting my effort into this direction, changes your entire life. And that's what this story is. That's what this podcast interview conversation is going to be all about, because I've got an incredible wholesaler out of Tampa Bay, Florida, that moved to Tampa Bay after watching this podcast, this exact podcast, watched an interview that I had with Dan Green, an incredible wholesaler that I personally coached, and made the decision to move from New York to Florida to pursue his real estate dreams, his real estate goals. And well, I'll just get right into it. It is my pleasure to introduce Elijah Bryant to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast. Elijah, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Brent. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
I am excited for this because this is how you and I relationship started way back when you watched a video on this YouTube channel with Dan Green. Is that right?
That's 100% correct. I just want to say, you are a legend to me. Watching your podcast inspired me. You say it all the time, talk to people. And at the time, I'm really laid back, shy, but you kind of got me out of my shell. You made me believe that I could do this.
Thank you. Well, listen, Elijah, you have put in the work, and it's an incredible story. And really, it's just getting started. I mean, you've been going really aggressive at it for the last 2 years. In 2020, you did 12 wholesale deals of houses, but in 2021, you made a switch to go after vacant lots, and you did 60 deals averaging between 5 to 7,000. Let's just call it a clean 6,000 on 60 land deals. We're going to get all into that. But what were you doing before you decided to be a full-time real estate entrepreneur?
So I was actually playing semi-professional basketball in Du Bois, Pennsylvania. And after that, that's when I moved to New York. I moved back to New York, and I was just door dashing while trying to figure out the wholesaling business.
Got it. And what did you have a friend in the business? Were you just Googling make money in real estate, or do your own business? Like, how did you discover it? I ask this question every podcast because it's interesting to me. I was in real estate, Elijah, for like 10 years before I knew what wholesaling was. I should have known, didn't know. How did you find it?
So I actually just from YouTube, YouTube, basically how to become a millionaire, Google how to become a millionaire, and somehow wholesaling came up. So
Mm-hmm.
I was watching like all your podcasts back in New York while I was door dashing, and that's kind of how I kind of got started.
I love it. So let me ask you this question. It might be a little bit deep, but why do you want to be a millionaire? You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like, some people want, I mean, it's a nice thing to think about, but then you actually started taking action on it. So what about you internally is going on in your brain that you like, I want to have this financial freedom. I want a certain amount. This is my goal. Like, what is going on inside?
Yeah, me personally, I want to live comfortably, and I want a luxurious lifestyle, and not just for myself, for my future kids, my family. Like if I could retire my mom, my dad, that would be my ultimate goal,
Yep.
including myself.
Sure. Well, listen, you're on your way. I'll tell you that. And I love that. And I see that you've got a stack of books behind you. How often are you reading? How often are you investing into that goal, into that mind of living that luxurious lifestyle?
So I try to read 10 pages every morning and
Love it.
about 5 pages every night,
Mm-hmm.
and try to do that consistently, reading different mindset books like Think and Grow Rich. That's probably my favorite, by Napoleon Hill.
Yep.
I feel like it changed my mindset as I was doing the wholesaling.
Oh, and listen, that book, I mean, that is the seed of personal development. That was like when that came out, it impacted so many people. And then a gentleman by the name of Earl Nightingale really exploded that in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. And he came out with something called The Strangest Secret, which is basically we become what we think about. And that's what you're doing. I mean, you're constantly pouring in and thinking about being successful, and you understand that you have to solve the problems of people that have these distressed properties to be able to do that. So let's talk about that journey. You moved from New York to Tampa Bay to basically be like an apprentice, right?
Yeah, so basically at the time, I was living in my mom's basement, and me and my mom, we're watching your show, the podcast, and you had a dude from Tampa, Florida, Dan Green, on your show. And he was basically explaining how he moved to Tampa himself and started wholesaling houses and made six figures. And at the end of the show, he stated that he was looking for an acquisitions manager. So that immediately piqued my interest. And at the time, we was the same age, 25 years old. My ego was like, don't hit him up, don't hit him up. But my mom was like, you better hit him up. So that's exactly what I did. I contacted him through Facebook, and he messaged me right away and said, come down here for an interview. And that's exactly what I did. Like literally packed up my car, drove to Virginia, and then got on the Amtrak train to Tampa, Florida. And I was in Tampa the next day.
Incredible. That is incredible. So you get into this business, and I mean, just starting this out, you said, self-admitted, I am kind of more of a shy person. I don't like go out. I'm not like going to be screaming and being loud and bombastic out there. How did you adapt your personality, or maybe it just opened up, maybe it just blossomed in this role of being an acquisition manager, because acquisition manager is basically sales. In sales, all you do all day is you get paid for your ability to effectively communicate. So what happened?
So while working for Dan, Dan at the time, him and Mark McAllister, another one of your students, they
Yep.
actually worked in the same building, the same office. So around the time when I was coming down here, I wasn't that good at sales. Like I'm gonna be honest, I sucked. But from being around them, seeing them speak to sellers and their different tactics, their tonality, how they handle objections, I would just record them and write down certain things that they would say. I'll go home later that day and just practice in the mirror for an hour or two until the next day. And I feel like each day I got a little bit better. And I feel like that's what made me more comfortable speaking to sellers.
I love it. Reps, right?
Yeah, you got to
I
get the
mean,
reps
this
in.
is this is shooting free throws, when you're young, and building it up and getting going and building that skill. I mean, it really is. I mean, people have to understand there are people that are what would classify themselves as introverts, but you'll find that as you start having more opportunities to speak with people, and you understand that most of the people that we speak to in the real estate business, it's usually pretty similar conversations. We're talking about the condition of the property, their timeline to sell that property, their motivation, and their price, and then overcoming whatever objections pop up. But as you'll discover, as you start doing a lot of businesses, there's usually only about a dozen to maybe 20 different real objections that pop up, and as long as you learn how to overcome those objections, you win. And that, it sounded like you did. So absolutely incredible. So in that first year, so you go through, you're working with Dan, you're building the skills, you're around this incredible team, and then you decide to go on your own.
Yeah, so backstory with that. So I worked for Dan for a little bit. Like I said, I wasn't the best salesperson. This is like my first sales job. So we decided to part ways, but he told me like he'll still mentor me whenever I had questions. And that's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
So around that time, I was back to DoorDash, and I still had to pay bills and everything. So I'm door dashing, and while I'm door dashing, I'm driving for dollars. So I'm going to different areas in Tampa, Newport Richie, St. Petersburg, the whole Tampa Bay, learning different areas, driving for dollars and calling these leads.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I got my first house deal, from driving for dollars and door dashing.
I love it. I love it. And so you were just building up your list, and then how would you reach out to these property owners? How are you getting the opportunity to get in front of them?
Yeah, so I would just go to True People Search
Uh-huh.
and then call them up one by one until
But
one of
wait,
them.
wait. But you're shy. You don't do that. How did you get over that? No, this is, I really want you to talk about this, because this is a big hurdle for a lot of people. A lot of people have these preconceived ideas of, or at least it's been put in their brain that, oh, he's the quiet one, she's the quiet one, they don't say much, they're going to do their thing, he's a basketball player and he does DoorDash. And then all of a sudden you're calling people and getting opportunities. So how'd you overcome your fear of the phone?
So I think, like you said, just reps, and
Yep.
also just having the courage. Courage is only possible when you're experiencing fear, right?
That's right.
So I knew that this isn't life or death. I'm like, being from New York City, I've been in way crazier situations than asking somebody if they willing to sell their house. So
Perspective.
once I put that in my mindset, I'm like, I could definitely do this. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you become, and you become whatever you do.
I love it. I love it. So you just started the classic, and listen, 80%, I've said this on this podcast probably a bazillion times. 80% of brand new real estate wholesalers get their first deals from driving for dollars. It is a very simple formula. Ugly properties, big checks. Ugly
Yep.
properties, big checks, right? I mean, that's what we're looking for. We're looking to solve the problems of the distressed property owners. Well, listen, Brent, what does that mean? What is a distressed property owner? What's a motivated property owner? Somebody that has a property that needs a lot of renovation. Somebody that has a property that's super dated, or it's a junkyard, or it's a hoarder house, or it's, the roof has been burnt down, or, the plumbing burst and there's a flood. Like, there are so many different opportunities to just drive around town and find these properties and have a conversation, have a quality conversation with that distressed property owner. So you called them up and asked them if they wanted to sell?
Yeah, so that's exactly what happened. Like, my first deal, called her up. Another wholesaler actually had it under contract,
Okay.
but she said, call me back in a month, and if they don't close, I'll sell to you. So that's
Love it.
exactly what I did. I wrote down the date, called her back a month later, and she told me that they actually backed out. So then I asked her, basically, what price did they have it at? And she told me, so at the time they had it at 60,000. I
Mm-hmm.
already knew they couldn't get it, they couldn't move that at 60,000.
Yeah.
So I immediately lowballed her. I told her, I could do it at 30,000. They had it too high. This house needs a lot of work. I could do it at 30,000. And she just wanted to sell. So she agreed on that price, and that's how I got my first deal.
I
And
love it. I
yeah.
love it. Look at that. And then from there, I mean, once you got that first check in did you go full time? Did you keep doing your DoorDash? Like, what did your life look like then after you got your first check? And is it one of those things where, you have proof of a concept? Now you feel like, oh my gosh, like you felt a lot more courage and a lot more confident? Were you like, oh, I still need to do some more to make sure that this is something that I can do for a long time?
Brent, once I got that first check, I felt like a rock star. It
I
was
feel you.
crazy because one of my, I think the second or third deal, I was actually competing with Dan's acquisition manager. This is another driving for dollars lead that I got. And now, me and Dan, he's still mentoring me. We're still close, hang out every weekend.
Yeah.
And now we're kind of competing on the same deal, but it's his acquisitions manager. And I actually ended up getting that deal. So that's kind of what made me even feel more confident, seeing my
Incredible.
progress from when I first started with him to actually kind of competing with his company and getting that deal. And it was still love. We actually celebrated right after I closed that deal because I used to go to his office all the time as well.
Sure. Sure.
And
That's
then from
great.
and then from there, I started doing it virtually in a different state, wholesaling houses in Indiana, and that's kind of where I felt more confident doing it virtually and uh, just calling from my house.
So you would just get lists in Indiana, call them, and did you have boots on the ground? Why did you go to Indiana? Why did you feel more confident in Indiana?
Yeah, so the Tampa market is kind of flooded with a lot of wholesalers, and I still believe you could get deals in Tampa, but I wanted to get.
You were getting deals in
Yeah,
Tampa.
I was getting deals, but I wanted to get more deals.
Got it.
So I tried a different market, just pulled the list, just getting over that fear of I don't have to be there to make money, you
Right.
know?
Yep.
And that's what kind of made me go into Indiana, low price housing. It's more of a rental market.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, pulled the list and I got a good response. And that's what made me just stay consistent in that area.
Awesome. Awesome. Now let's switch tracks a little bit here because I really want to dig into what you're doing with vacant land because a lot of people sleep on vacant land, and one of the best vacant land coaches in the country, I would consider him the best, Brent Bowers, on this podcast does an incredible job talking about this and trying to convince people that it's a great strategy. But here you are wholesaling vacant land in infill situations. What that means is like in neighborhoods that are already established. You're finding lots in there, and you're doing 5 of these deals a month last year. Now we talked before we started here. You're at 7 to 8 deals a month from vacant lots. So.
Yeah.
Tell me what's going on there. Why do you and do you like it more? You're obviously like this is a big focus for you.
Yeah, like how you said, they're asleep, so I'm about to wake them up. Yeah. So with the vacant lots, it's just much easier. It's an easier conversation. A lot of these people, they don't have a big connection to the land. So really, they just want to offer. And if you're around the same price as them, they would, they're more easily to agree on your price.
Yep.
I don't feel like I have to convince them. It's not really talking about the condition. I don't really need the motivation. We just kind of have to be at that same price. I notice also my follow ups, I'm getting deals uh, usually around 2 to 3 follow-ups, if not the first contact.
That's
So
incredible.
yeah, so I feel like it's just much easier. Basically what I do is I find the builder first,
Mm-hmm.
get his criteria, exactly where he's looking at, zip codes, price, square footage, and then I pull a list of that filter, and then I just give out offers. I send text out and I cold call.
All right. So I got a bunch of questions here, and I love this. So 2 to 3 follow-ups, and you get the deal locked up. Right now,
If that,
I know. Oh gosh, I love this. I'm telling you, we do the same thing here in Arizona. It's the absolute truth, right? They either want 10 times what it's worth, or they just want to get rid of the property. That's just a fact. And do you think? My first question is there less emotion when it comes to land than with houses for the property owner?
absolutely, absolutely. Like a lot of these times, it feels like they're trying to sell it to me. So I'm I'm like, bring them on, bring them on.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
second thing is, how do you find, I think what, everybody's probably screaming in their car or on the treadmill or whatever else. How do you find the builders then, and then almost reverse wholesale, right? They give you the criteria and then you go to work for them. How do you find these builders? What does that conversation sound like?
So yeah, I'd find the builders either on Google or I look at, recent lots that have been sold in the area, and
Mm-hmm.
I skip trace the LLCs, or sometimes these builders have a website, and I just, be transparent with them. I let them know exactly what I do and that I could look for off-market lots for them at a discounted price, and they're not going to say no to that. So that's exactly what I do.
Listen, Elijah, I am telling you right now, and I will put this on record, on tape, and on this podcast. You can build a nationwide company to do. I'm telling, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's probably already in your head. You're already seeing this 5 years down the road or sooner. You can really make this like the thing where you have an army of people that talk to builders and match them up with vacant lots. I'm telling you,
Yes.
people still are. You know what? You know why people sleep on this, Elijah? Because it's not exciting. Right? You can't
Yeah.
go to the barbecue and be like, yeah, I sold this lot in this neighborhood. And they're like, what, like an empty lot? Yeah. Okay, whatever. But if you go and be like, I sold this house,
House.
it's on this street, it had cats everywhere, and it had junk cars and everything. And look at these pictures and everything. And it becomes this elaborate story. Listen, you want to make the most money in this business? Have the worst stories. Have the most boring stories. I'm telling you, because nobody else will do that. That's incredible. I love it. And I'm excited to watch you totally expand your reach in your business. It's going to be phenomenal. So smaller deals though, right? 5,000 to 7,000.
Yeah. I actually got a good one in North Carolina right now.
Okay.
I actually got it it's 3 lots. I got it for 15,000 each.
Yep.
So 45,000.
Yep.
And the thing I don't kind of like about the land so much, that these builders, they kind of look at the fees. So we brought it to the builder for 105,000, just because I got it at such a low price.
Love it.
And he agreed, but once he seen my fee, he kind of backed out. So what I'm deciding to do is just buy it myself, list it on the market for 120,000, and hopefully, actual tenant or an actual buyer that wants to build a home will buy it, because they're all 3 right next to each other in a luxury area. So,
and listen, you close on that at 45, you put it on the market at 120, it could be bid up to 150. It could be bid up for more. Let me ask you, in that neighborhood, Elijah, what are properties selling for?
So they're selling for around 450,000.
You got it for 15 grand each?
Each. Yep.
You better close on that. You better put that. That's incredible. I love that.
I just listed it on the market today.
Awesome. So you closed it?
No, on a flat fee listing.
Oh yeah, sure. Love it.
But I plan on closing on it in a week or 2.
Yep. Incredible. So awesome. When you're Googling, you just Google home builders
in
their area.
The area I'm searching it.
I love it. The beautiful thing is they're always looking for land, right? And a lot of times they have people that are in-house and they're trying to find it, and they have people calling and this and that, but they're always looking. They always have opportunities. So that's phenomenal. It's really not that difficult, right? Just Google it, find these people, call them up, and see what they're buying and go find it.
Yeah, what I noticed from a lot of the sales that I got is a lot of these people want to sell their lots, but humans, we procrastinate.
Yep.
So a lot of these people don't want to contact the realtors and go through that whole process. Yep. So when I contact them, asking them if they want to sell their lot, they get excited. It's like a light bulb hits their head, and they're like, yes, we want to sell it. So a lot of times they give me their offer first, and that's how I got this one for 15,000 each.
Awesome.
The lots. Yep. 3 lots for 15,000 each.
Awesome. Incredible. It's amazing what one phone call can do. You know what I mean? And you're absolutely right. I think that if people are starting out in this business and they really want to build up their courage and they really want to build up their experience and their endurance talking to strangers, call vacant lots. I've been saying this for 4 years. Call on vacant lots, and it's a lot easier of a conversation. Most people are very, very unemotional about it, and either they want way too much or they want nothing for it. So incredible. Well, it's that time of the show. It's time of the podcast where we break down a deal. Now, you had a deal on a house, because we had talked before this, and you're like, well, land is just, there's not a lot of story here, right? It's like a barbecue.
Yeah.
So let's tell the barbecue story here. Let's talk about what is tell me a deal that you broke, that you did, and we'll break it down.
Yeah. So basically, this is one of my early deals, probably my third deal that I got. And I'm actually driving to a doctor's appointment. I remember. So I'm going through this town. It's in Leesburg, Florida. And I see a lady and her son. They're moving furniture out the house, right?
Yep.
And at the time, I'm still kind of nervous. I'm still like nervous to speak to people. So as they're moving furniture out, I like drive right by them. But immediately something in my head was like, turn around, speak to them.
That's
right?
it.
So I circle the block and I drive by them again. It's like I hesitated. I was nervous.
I've been there.
But I'm like, you know what? As I said earlier, you're only courageous in those moments of fear.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I'm going to do this. So I circled the block again, and she's moving her couch out with her son out the house. And I go up, I introduce myself, let her know that I work for a real estate company and we buy houses just like this.
Yep.
And then from there, we just had a long conversation, and she was basically breaking down the story with the house. This was her mother's old house, and they weren't looking to sell it. But she said, you seem like a nice guy. Give me an offer later and I'll consider it. So I took pictures of the house and I told her, I'll give her an offer later. So later that day, I looking on PropStream, Zillow. Like, this is a small town, so they don't have many comps.
Sure.
So the Zestimate said, I think about 110,000 or 120. So I'm like, I know I have to just give like a lowball offer. So I just called, offer 50,000, and she immediately accepted. And I was surprised. Yep. So I put that deal on Facebook Marketplace.
Yep.
For 55,000, because I wasn't sure if this was a deal or not. And a lot of buyers hit me up. They were flooding my DMs. So what I did was I had like an open house where they all came at the same time. So while we're at the house for the open house, I let her know that these are my contractors for the house. They just want to do like an inspection. And at the time, one of my buyers, he actually walks in with his wife and like a baby. So she stops me. She pulls me to the side and she's like, are these people buying my house?
Mm-hmm.
And like at the time, my heart just like kind of dropped.
Sure.
I was nervous. I didn't know what to say.
Sure.
But, quickly, I just, I was transparent. I let her know that actually they're the ones that's going to buy the house, but they want to see what kind of layout they want to have it as. And she was okay with it.
Yep.
And so later that day, they all bid on the price. And the one with the baby and their wife, they're the ones that actually came the highest at 63,500.
63,500. So was the property in pretty decent condition?
It was in pretty decent condition.
They can move in and kind of fix it up as they go?
Yeah, so it wasn't even that bad. It was just vacant and nobody lived in it. And yep, I made 13,500 from
Come
that
on.
deal.
I love it. Here we go.
Oh yeah.
I love it. Well,
I've been
congratulations.
waiting for that for years.
Well deserved. And listen, sometimes we get nervous when the seller's there and we have people coming through and you hit it right on the head. Just be honest with them. Just tell them, and we even have it in our purchase agreements. We have it when we're having conversations with them that one of our exit strategies is to assign this to somebody else. And so Never had a problem with it. Literally have not had a problem with it when you've just been open. I mean, people want their price. They want to make it, they want it as smooth as possible. They want you to communicate effectively, and they're happy and they get out of that situation. So congratulations, $13,500 on just driving around. And that, I know that gut check where you turn that car around. Oh, and then you're kind of like, do I get out of the car or do I just play this off like, oh, no, I'm just going to keep going? And, you know, you go through all these things. But I implemented, it's really funny. And maybe you did just naturally, Elijah. I implemented like a 5-second rule where it's like, okay, I'm going in 5, 4, 3, 2, and get out. Boom, go. You know what I mean? And it's like a countdown. It's just a mental thing that helps me to take action and not overthink it too much. There's a human, you're a human, go talk to him, see what's going on, see if you can help him out, see if you can give him an offer, and whether that's in person or over the phone, and just be the person in the community that is helping people solve these problems. That's what we do. That's what wholesale is. That's what we do. It is the art of finding discounted properties, but really it's the art of solving the problems of distressed property owners. Because if they don't have problems, they'll put it on the market. They'll sell it. They'll keep it. They'll rent it. They'll do whatever.
I try to tell myself this isn't life or death, you know?
Right.
All I had to do was ask that one question, and that one question made me $13,500, you know? So that's what I would tell people. This isn't life or death, you know? This is actually easy once you even get it in rhythm. Is you just having conversations with people.
Yep. It's fun.
Yeah, it actually becomes like a game and fun. Yeah.
Doesn't it? It gets to the point where that switch gets flipped, and all of a sudden it gives you energy as opposed to draining you of energy, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I love it. So for anybody that wants to reach out to you, they want to squat up with you, they want to learn more about what you do or about maybe being a part of your company, what's the best way for people to reach out to you?
Yeah, so you can reach me either through Facebook or Instagram. Facebook is Elijah Bryant, and on Instagram is Thy Book of Eli, ThyBookEli.
I love it and love it. And listen, if you're reaching out to work with this guy, you better be a reader. You better be reading because right?
Gotta be.
That's
Change that whole mindset.
I love it. So just to wrap this up, thank you again so much for being on here, but give some advice to anybody starting out. I think that you hit it on the head about just the perspective and about, you know, how fun this business could be, but just tactically, what do you think people should do if they're listening to this, they're inspired and they're like, I want to run out right now and do something. What would you tell them to do?
I would say, you know, just be consistent on your marketing, consistent on your follow-up, hang around the right people, because the right people will put you in the right positions in life, just like how Dan and Mark did for me. And just grind, just keep at it, because it's gonna happen. Like, don't give up. You only lose when you give up.
I love it. And I'm going to give a special message to your mom. Thank you. Thank you for giving him the push to reach out to Dan and to get him out to Florida. Elijah has incredible things that he is going to do in this business and for real estate in general. So thank you, Mom, for convincing him to send that DM and to make that move. So congratulations. Absolutely incredible. I celebrate you. I'm going to be watching you from afar, just making sure that you just keep going. And it's going to be exciting to see you expand your business and to live that luxury lifestyle, retire your family, be that magnet in your family that is building wealth and doing incredible things and has that energy. It's awesome. It's very inspiring.
Thank you, Brent. I appreciate you. And thank you for having me.
You got it. You got it. That's it. Awesome. Well, guys, listen, if you are interested in joining the most proactive group in real estate investing, it is the TTP coaching program, the TTP family. Go to wholesalinginc.com/TTP, wholesalinginc.com/TTP. Check out what it's all about. It is incredible. All the incredible people that I've had the pleasure and honor to coach over the years. Check out all of their success, their testimonials, what they have to say about it. Check out what the program's all about. Over 100 hours of support calls, the program A to Z, exactly step by step what to do, and you work with me personally. So if it feels good in your gut, make sure you go there and sign up for a call, and I look forward to working with you personally. And as always, I sign out encouraging you to go and talk to people. Till next time. Love you guys. See ya.